Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, Blue Dot Red State, utilizing Tarot to help us navigate these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. And I'd just like to give a shout out to new subscribers. I see you and welcome. Maybe you've been watching for a while. You could subscribe, and then also for everyone, if you could it helps to grow my channel. It tells YouTube, hey, the algorithm, people like this, anyway, I do appreciate. I really do appreciate it. So, what the focus of today's reading is going to be about California, and California is the Harvard of the states. I was talking with my husband last night, and I'm recording this on Friday the 13th. I didn't realize. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Friday the 13th. And we were talking last night just about what's going on in California, and we had just seen the news that Senator Padilla had been not just had been forcibly removed, thrown to the ground, handcuffed, and cosplay Barbies out there going, well, he didn't identify himself. Oh, the fuck he didn't. Yes, he did. And then now she's having to kind of backtrack, and she met with him, and whatever. But we are now at the stage of arresting senators. That's where we are. And it was not an accident. I mean, this was planned. Okay. This was planned for him to be arrested. They were waiting for him. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind. He's a senator from California. They have purposely, picked LA to start just the militarization of our states, and so it's like, the reason I say that California is the Harvard of the states, Trump did, he picked on some of the smaller, and he, small, like Columbia. And by smaller, I mean, like, they don't have that endowment that, like, Harvard has. They don't have that history. They don't have that strength, in so many ways, to be able to stand up to Trump. And so, he had all these universities kind of bending the knee, and it was almost like that was the trial run. And then he gets to Harvard, and Harvard's like, no. And I did the reading. It's not a question of whether Harvard will fail. It's a question of whether the courts will fail Harvard. And that question, I always like to credit people, came from JVL from the Bulwark. When he said that, I was like, oh, that's the reading. Okay. So it's not whether or not Harvard will fail. It's whether or not the courts will fail Harvard. And so then, now all of this is going on in California, and I was sitting there going, why do you start with California? California has the world's fourth largest economy. I think it switches like between 4 and 5, and I'm not quite sure where they are right now. I think they're fourth largest economy in the world. They could be their own country. They could, Gavin Newsom has said, maybe, if you're not giving us federal funding, why should we pay our federal taxes? Because we pay more in than we receive back. So that's going to, I don't know that it's going to get that far, but that absolutely is a showdown that he's willing to have. And I know I have been very critical of Governor Newsom, and I just want to say that this energy that he's bringing, he can bring this energy all day long. Okay. It's like, welcome to the resistance. No, you cannot play by Trump's rules. Okay. And I heard, I don't even know, it was playing in the background, like, the only way to deal with a bully is to bully back. And that's exactly what, Governor Newsom needs to do. He needs to bully back. And he said he's not releasing the transcript of the one phone call he did have. That needs to be a question. Okay, let me pause this real quick. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I got that question. I was like, oh, I need to remember that, because I don't always remember as I do readings. So, is he going to release that transcript of the phone call? My gut reaction is like, yeah, he is. But I'll put cards out on just to make sure. So what I want to do is I want to look at a couple of things. The first thing I want to do is I have been going back and reviewing the June energy readings, and I actually did an update for All Roads Lead to the Tower card using what I got in weeks 3 and 4, and then the final message. Okay, so I don't know what order I'm putting this out in, but anyway, I'm utilizing that June energy reading because as things are unfolding, it's like, oh my gosh, that's pretty spectacular and amazing. So yeah, what I want to do is look at this, what I got in that, and then I will go into doing a base reading into what is going on in California and how's that going to play out. I need to get this bit down. Okay. So that first energy reading that I did for just June in general, and so this is, we're getting ready to end the second week, and this was the second week cards. I got that, something with the government. Okay. And this is also like the spirit of our government. So it's not just, the U.S. Constitution. It's the spirit of that. Or like if you look at it like it's not just the government, it's the spirit of the Constitution and its laws. Okay. That's kind of really how I see the Hierophant. And then the 10 of Pentacles. And I was like, and this is a completion of something. Okay. Couple of things. So yes, 10 of Pentacles, completion of something. But as I was going through this, my husband was like, isn't that like, like the 10th Amendment is about states' rights? And I was like, maybe? And so I looked it up, and yes, it is. This is the 10th Amendment. This is about the government deciding about states' rights and what is it that, what are they going to rule? Okay. And so with then that, so if I'm reading this now as the 10th Amendment is coming into, is really what this is about, whether or not, and that's actually what is before the courts, is did Trump, overreach by sending in military when it was not requested? Okay. There was not an emergency. Trump created the emergency. Okay. He was the one that did this. He is the emergency, not the other way around. So the 10th Amendment, and I think this is going to be California. Okay. I'm going to see this as California. This is that MAGA, agenda. I really think this is the courts going, like, when I saw this, I was like, well, this is like messages and toxicity, and like we still have, there was the original court case, and then the appeals, and then the Supreme Court. I was kind of like, look at this, going, okay, well, these are all the individual meanings, and then it was like, oh my gosh, the courts are like, no, you tell him, no, you tell him, no, you tell him. We don't want to be the ones to tell him. We're going to make this go to the Supreme Court. Okay, that's what. None of these judges, the original judge said, states' rights. He ruled in favor of California, and that was probably pretty safe for him to do because he knew that the next court, is going to get appealed, and then that court put a stay on it. Okay, and they put a stay on it until they hear the merits of the case. So then whenever they hear the merits of the case, I truly do believe, and I'll put cards out, that they're just going to kick it up to the Supreme Court, and they're going to be like, we're not going to be the ones to tell him, no, you can't use the military. We're going to have the Supreme Court do that. Okay. So that, as I said, that was the reading, the cards that I had in that June energy reading. And so that, now that, we've kind of wrapping it up, I can go back and I can backseat read my own readings and say, that's what that was. And the 10th Amendment. Okay. So what I want to do now is kind of want to throw these cards back in here. And I just want to do a base reading now on just the California. Okay. Just base reading in the showdown between California, and I'm going to say, I'm going to use like Gavin Newsom kind of as that, because he is the face of California. And so between Gavin Newsom and Trump, the showdown between Gavin Newsom and Trump, just base reading into what do we need to know about that. Okay. For entertainment purposes only, in case I haven't said that, everything on my channel, everywhere, is always forever going to be for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so showdown between Trump and Governor Newsom. This is working on things. I think that it's almost like I get this feeling like you have um, people behind the scenes working, like they're working on the court cases. I almost see like staff. This is like staff working on, on whatever it is that, is going on here. So let's see what the next patients. It's almost like I get the feeling like Governor Newsom actually did kind of try talking with Trump, did kind of try working with him. Remember, that's why, everyone was like, what the hell, Newsom? What are you doing? Fight back. And now, and he tried the patience. He tried the old playbook when it came to Trump, and it doesn't work. And if anything, he proved that the old playbook and being nice does not work with Trump. He doesn't respond to that. The options are, and here are your options. You take him to court, you bully him back. Okay. For the vast majority of the court cases, Trump is losing. Okay. Now, is he going to lose every single case? No, we're seeing that. And I even said that, he's not going to lose every case, but he's losing the big ones. Okay. So the options are, I'm going to see this as all the court cases that are putting him to an end. Okay. The past experiences this is the military. Now, he has called the military in. This is what Trump has done. And this is also nights, changes, ideas, going, like armoring yourself, going into battle. But not just racing ahead. Like you've got a plan, you're implementing the plan, and that's what, Trump is doing. And he's going to be stopped. Okay. Definitely he's going to be stopped. And this is good news, happier news coming out, agreements. And, I keep getting these agreements that come to light. So let me just make sure who are these restrictions? And really, it's like the military has restrictions. I'm not even going to ask. The military has restrictions placed around them. What I think the courts are eventually going to rule in Governor Newsom's favor, and then a favorable ruling. Is this going to be the Supreme Court? Is this the Supreme Court that is going to rule on this? And the Supreme Court, Mad King Don, this is like coming to the end of an emotional journey. Like this is like his mental health. Gavin Newsom has talked about how, Trump cognitively is not the same person that he worked with even just 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. So this is like, I think this is typically the 10 of cups is we've achieved happiness. Okay. But for cups is also emotions, mental health. And I think that this is like the end of, the end of Trump. His mental health is failing. He's like going off in a new direction. Like he's not with us anymore. Like he's mentally, he's like somewhere, on what is it that Nicole Wallace calls it, planet B. Like, the rest of us here on planet A, and then he's somewhere on planet B, out there somewhere. So, when will the Supreme, and I keep getting this, the message, the agreements that were made between, Trump and whatever, about the election results, coming out, and like that will be the end of them. I think we've got quite a bit of stuff going on here right now. It's like there's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of layering going on here. My update to All Roads Lead to the Tower card, I actually go back and backseat read my own reading for June for weeks 3 and 4. And now knowing what we know about that, what's going on, that there actually was the court case in New York about the election, I think we're going to get those results. And they're going to find that there's a reason the fraud is coming to light. Okay. That's what we've got going on. Like next week it starts and it goes into the fourth week, and fourth week of June, and then going into like the 4th of July. So we have that going on. At the same time, we've got this California stuff going on, and I think that this is like things are coming to an end. Happier messages. And these messages are going to be about the election. Okay. Um, Mad King Don is coming to the end of his road, quite literally. And he's like on planet B somewhere else. Like he's not. I think that Governor Newsom is going to release those tapes, and it's like each one of these things is just that one more thing, one more thing, one more thing, and we have a lot going on these last 2 weeks of June. I want to know, is Trump going to try to double down? I would fully expect for him to do that. Is Trump going to double down and create the crisis? You know, he wants to declare a national emergency so that he can, use the military. So is this, what is the Trump meltdown going to look like? Is he going, is he going to double down and just, what does that all look like? Okay. It's like I'm asking to get a glimpse into the wannabe dictators, addled, meltdown, emotional, baby tantrum brain. So, I'll do the best I can with that energy, Oh, wow. So what's that? What does that pile of goo look like? What's that, is he going to double down? And with doubling down, once again, this going, like, I really think that this is like MAGA leaving him, MAGA turning their backs, walking away. And then you get this, there is what was it? It was Merlin, and it had, who was anyway, it was Merlin. I can't remember the guy, Sam Neill with Miranda Richardson. And at the very end, I know I'm really digging back in the recesses here. And here, I actually do want to do this real quick. I love that movie, by the way. And it was like made for TV. If you haven't watched it, it's really good. But at the very end, the way Sam Neill says that we're going to get rid of Morgana. Was that her? I think, yeah, Morgana. Just turn your back. Don't give her any energy. Don't give her the audience. Don't give her, just turn your back. And and I've been seeing, it's like, that's what I see. I see that scene in my mind when this card comes up. Is just, that's how we get rid of him. You just turn your back, and you don't give him the energy. You don't give him what he wants. And I'm going to see what else comes up, but I also think that this is going to be logic. This is going to be, sanity is just, it's leaving. Okay. Sanity is headed out the door when it comes to Trump. Okay. And so, and I was asking, is he going to double down? And it's like, if this is anything, it's like he's going to double down on the crazy as people walk away. Okay. It's almost like I'm almost getting like two feelings here of people walk away, and the more they turn their back, the more support he loses, the worse he's going to get when it comes to that mental state of that, his mental state. Okay. The challenge, he's his own challenge. Wow. My good. Oh, wow. He's his own challenge. His mind is his own challenge. Just his own, the way he bullies, and the way he, he's supposed to be taking care of, the office of presidency, and all he's doing is defiling it. Okay. So that was the challenge. He is his own challenge. The options, Queen of Pentacles. We are a land of laws, and this is the way we Pentacles. It's that very methodical. This is the law. This is the way we do things. This is how our country operates. And the option is, how do we get back to that? Okay. And what I'm noticing here in this deck are the autumn leaves, these oak leaves that are turning brown, which happens in the fall. Please let this happen sooner than the fall. And it really could be it may take a little while for us to steady the ship. It's like all of this stuff comes out, and then, we're going to have some transitional periods there, and it truly may be fall before we get put completely back on that path. That does not mean Trump's in office that whole time. It just means that we're going to have this, several month transition period of this administration's done. Whatever's going to happen to put, a new administration in, or, a temporum, administration, something, interim, type feeling is what I'm getting with that. The past experiences, I keep getting these agreements, or like we're all seeing the same truth. That's it. This was we're all on the same page, seeing the same truth. And it could be like whatever's released, we're all seeing the same thing. Okay, that's my feeling with that. The recent influences, this is all the bickering and fighting. And so like bickering and fighting, we're all, and really it's like, that with the those the unexpected messages I was getting, like we have two truths. And it's like, well, there's actually only one truth. However, for MAGA, what they see, that is their truth. And they're gonna have a coming to Jesus moment whenever they realize that they've been lied to. And you notice that we've all been saying, you don't have to admit you were wrong, you just have to admit you were lied to. Okay. I mean, that doesn't cut it for me, but whatever. I will save that rant for another day. And so, yeah, I think this is just like MAGA even picks up arms, and joins in whenever all of this comes to light. And then state of rest. And I was asking because I was like, what am I temporarily forgot, like, what am I asking? Like, seriously, okay. That whenever I have moments, it's like, I'm feeling like there may be this other energy come in, because when I forget stuff, it's like, oh, wait, what? So we'll see what happens. Okay. So I was asking, is Trump going to double down? With that, I'm going to say, just because of who he is, yes. But as he died, I mean, it's like the last gasp, because the rest of this is, we've seen the truth. Everybody, is on the same page. We get our country back. And that, like by fall, we have, like, by fall, this is a memory, or, like we're on our new path. We've got, I think that like July, August, September is going to be kind of like that interim period. September, October, November is when, like we're things have gotten better. And Trump, I don't even know, this is laying in a state of rest. It could also be like he's in jail. I don't know that he's ever going to go to jail, but boy, that's a nice thought. People are going to be going to jail. Okay. There are people going to jail over what he's doing. And, they need to start asking themselves, are they going to follow an illegal order? Okay. Because that's kind of, but I really think that this is like, yes, he's going to double down, but it just all like, it's almost like it doesn't matter. Like at that point, people are like, okay, you're done. Like I almost see, like just laughter. Like I see people laughing at him when he tries to double down. Okay. I want to know next, is Governor Newsom going to release the transcript of the phone call? Okay. I would like for there to also be an audio release. I mean, I'm surely like all of these phone calls are just automatically recorded since it's like official government business, but we'll see. Well, I guess if he's got a transcript, he's got to have an audio. So yeah, that would stand to reason. Is transcript, whether it's written or audio, it doesn't matter which, is that going to be released? Is Governor Newsom going to release that transcript? Okay. And Governor Newsom releasing that transcript, yes. Like, yep, he's going to. Justice card. I mean, I almost don't, I don't need to do another. I mean, yes, I'm going to go ahead and see what all comes out. He is doing this to protect himself and is part of his strategy in, placing yourself in a position to overcome what's coming at you. So, yes, this is a piece of evidence that he will be releasing when the time is right. It's part of his strategy of shining a light into the truth, speaking the truth. Okay. And it also, I've been getting this also as the Pam Bondi card. So Pam Bondi could be up to some kind of nonsense. Our hopes and dreams. It's like that, that transcript is a gift is a gift to the world. Okay. That's what I'm feeling. And once again, it's going to, I mean, I'm kind of really wondering if this isn't like literally his mental, state leaving, like his sanity is like, see ya, and out the door. And then, this is a friend, nights, changes, emotions. This is offering something that's going to make people happy, It's like, yes. So, yes, he is going to release that. I think it's going to make Trump just, kind of crazy. I wonder if Pam Bondi's going to try to do. I'm just curious because what is this shining a light into the truth, speaking the truth, or is this like something with Pam Bondi, these two cards? I just want more clarification on those two cards. I thought I heard a car pull up, but okay. I did not. Okay, yeah, Pam Bondi. What, just clarification on these two cards. What is this? Okay, and those two cards, betrayal, this is shining a light and the truth comes out because you've got the betrayal, karma, those that were on top, fate, keeps cranking that wheel, and, karma's a bitch. And the Lover's card. I'm just going to ask you real quick. Give me clarification on the Lover's card. Because this is like agreements, relationships, passionate relationships. People, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of big feels around all of this from a lot of people everywhere. So, and maybe that's just the big feels card, let's see, just more clarification on the Lovers. Victory, and both of these are sixes. So big feels, victory. The burden that we have been carrying is now, lighter. We're now looking out into the future. Ships coming in, evidence, that has been brought to light. So yeah, no, this isn't Pam Bondi. This is, it may try to be, but she's not successful. The truth is spoken, light is shown into, the darkness. The truth is spoken, the betrayal is uncovered, comes to light. Karma's a bitch. There's a lot of big feels around this. And then the victory around a burden that can be put down, and looking into the future of our country. And if you notice, and these are we've got the oak leaves that are green right now, and our trees are very green right now. So if you want to see like the progression with the cards that I got, let's see, where's that? I probably don't have that queen handy right now. I'm kind of looking here. I had shuffled, and so now I don't. Anyway, the queen, she had those of pentacles, had the oak leaves that were the brown for the fall, and now this is going to be the green leaves. So I think, yeah, I can't find that real quick. This is going to be things that happen soon. This happens. And then we're going to progress for 3 months. And I had said, about 3 months, while we, like, what kind of country do we want? What's our government going to be? What does this look like? This is a transition period. That's 3 months of transition before we then finally get to, our country being put back together. There she is. Queen of Pentacles. Okay. And then this card, with the green, that's what's standing out to me. And then we eventually, by fall, this is our government is reestablished. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean, during this transition period, I really do feel like, let me pull this up. I really do feel like, once that Band-Aid is ripped off, it's like about 2, maybe 3 weeks of like, when I say societal unrest, it's like, it's not, I don't see, Trump's going to double down. And there maybe be troops. There's going to be pockets where, it's going to be scary, but I'm going to say society as a whole, whenever I say societal unrest, we're going to be like the unknown. And I have said that before. It's not the unknown of how long is this going to go for. That's the scary part of like, the ship is going to be, rudderless there for a little bit, in like a week or two. And then it comes back together. And I keep getting that whenever the truth comes out, we come together as a nation. MAGA, we'll see. Are you going to believe the truth when you hear it? You haven't so far. So that's why I'm like, that piece is like, I don't know that I trust that piece, but okay, we'll go with it. And so then I really see like about 3 months where like we've got this interim thing going on. Like we have somebody, and I have got that, it very well could be Kamala Harris. I it could be. And then whether the election is then, decertified and rewarded back to her, or if, she steps, somebody steps in, readies the ship until we have new elections, those will be readings. I'm sure that when all of this happens, there will be no shortage of readings whatsoever. I will, I'll clear my calendar. I don't have a busy calendar anyway. So, yeah, I think that what we're seeing in California, California's the Harvard of the states. Trump wants to break them first because if they fall, then, what do the rest of us have hope for? We don't. Because California is the largest, they've got the largest economy. What is it, like four? Like they could be their own nation. They could be just fine as their own nation. And that's why Trump is targeting them specifically first. And then these other cities that he's targeting, the blue sanctuary cities, he's wanting to break them. That's what he's wanting to do. In the meantime, while he's trying that, the courts are like, no, you tell him, no, you tell him, and they're gonna make the Supreme Court tell him. They're like, you created this mess, you deal with it. That's the feeling I'm getting from the federal courts. So while all that's happening, we're going to have, that case in New York's going to come out, and then the election is going to be thrown into serious doubt. All of that happens. In the meantime, Governor Newsom's going to release that transcript. I mean, do you see how all of this layers on top of each other? And Trump, and he is not cognitively, yeah, I mean, you could just listen to him speak. I mean, I'm not diagnosing. I'm just like listening with my own ears going, that made no sense. Like, could you please translate that for me? Because, I don't know what you're talking about. So, there is no country of Mattel. Let's just start with that. This is the first example that, popped into my head. So we have a lot that's going to be going on these next several weeks. How is it that you deal with stress? Recognize that, put those, plans in place. I know, as I said, easy meals. That's what I have to have. I have to have easy meal sandwiches. That's what everybody's getting for the week. So yeah, hang in there. California's not going to fall. Okay. Harvard's not going to fall. The United States is not going to fall. It's going to be very interesting. And we as a whole are going to make it through. Okay. That I have no doubt about. It's just going to be real interesting. So hang in there. If you're in California, hang in there. California's strong. We're with you. Seriously, hang in there, please. Don't fall. I don't think California will, and I don't think the United States will. So it's heating up really fast, and we're going to start seeing that news is going to start happening faster, quicker, because we're coming to the end of the administration. So if anything, that's almost like an exciting thing. Like the more that happens, just know that that's a quicker end to what we're seeing out there. Okay. Entertainment purposes only. Thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I'll put some more videos up here for you to like. I'll probably put the Harvard one up because because this Harvard and California, I'm seeing he's using the same tactics of he wants to break those first, because if they fall, he thinks that everybody else will fall into line. We won't. Okay. So that, and then may do the updated All Roads Lead to the Tower card. As I said, I'm not sure what order stuff is coming out in, but I'll have some videos over there for you to watch. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a good day.